You know what you want to do to make a side income? You've thought about it. Maybe you've researched it. You might have even written it down, mapped it out, and talked through what you thought were the steps. And then nothing. The days pass, the idea sits, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice starts to wonder if maybe you're just not the kind of person who actually does this. Sound familiar? Here's what most women tell themselves at that point: I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more first. I'll start next month when things settle down. I just need to figure out one more thing. And I want to gently push back on all of that today because I don't think what's stopping you is fear of failure. I've seen enough women in this chapter of life to know that the real reason is something quieter, something more specific, and honestly, something much more solvable than fear. So stay with me because by the end of this video, I want you to see your stall differently, not as a verdict on who you are, but as a very specific thing, but very fixable. Let's talk about what's really happening. The first thing I see again and again is this: women don't stall because they don't know enough. They stall because of not knowing what to do first. Think about that for a moment. When you were building your career, someone handed you a structure. There was an orientation, a job description, a manager who told you what the priorities were. Deadlines are set, expectations are made clear. Building something of your own strips all of that away. And when there's no defined path, no clear starting line, the mind does something very human. It fills the gap with self doubt. The absence of a sequence gets mistaken for a personal failing. I must not be ready becomes the explanation, when the truth is simply nobody has shown you the process yet. The second thing underneath the stall is a belief that most women carry without ever having examined it. The belief that needing help means you're not ready, that people who are really meant to do this can just figure it out, that asking for an approach or a guide or a structure is somehow admitting that you don't have what it takes. I want to identify that belief clearly so you can look at it because it is not true. Needing a map doesn't mean you can't make the journey. Having that guidance is actually a wise approach. And the third thing, and this one is important, most women at this point of life have spent decades in environments where someone else defined the rhythm, the deadlines, the deliverables, the structure of a working week. That's not a weakness. That's how professional environments are designed. But when you step outside of that and try to build something of your own, you're not just learning new skills, you're learning how to move without someone else's structure supporting you. And that is really hard. It takes time to develop. And the women who may be feeling stuck are sometimes women who are just in the middle of learning this new relationship and don't yet realize that's what's happening. I know the stall from the inside. Well, before leaving my corporate career, I had a vision for what I wanted to build. I had the name, the idea, this very strong belief that women in this chapter of life were sitting on income they couldn't yet see. But there was a month where that vision stayed exactly where I left it, untouched, while I told myself I was still preparing. The honest truth is, I really didn't know what to do first, not in a vague way, specifically. If you had asked me on a Monday morning, what is the one thing you will do today to move this forward? I wouldn't have had a good answer. What kept me from moving forward wasn't fear or doubt about my abilities, the missing first step. When I finally built the sequence for myself, I moved. And that experience is a large part of why the Calm Creator Studio exists, because I needed it too. So, what breaks the stall? In my experience, three things. The first is a clear sequence of doing things. And I want to be specific about what I mean, because I'm not talking about a 5-year plan or a business strategy. I'm talking about something much simpler. What is the very next physical action? Meaning the thing you could put on a calendar for tomorrow. Knowing that specific movement is what makes the difference. Having a general goal is a big difference from a concrete task. Your mind has a clearer focus. The second thing that moves women through the stall is permission. Permission to move before you feel ready. I want to say this as directly as I can. Being ready is not the doorway to begin. Being ready comes as a result of your beginning. The women I've seen move fastest are not the ones who waited until everything felt aligned. They're the ones who took one imperfect, tentative, sometimes fearful step and discovered that that step itself built the confidence they were waiting for. You do not have to feel ready. You just have to know what step one is. And the third thing is a framework that actually fits how you naturally work. Because part of what makes a stall so persistent is that most of the advice available out there was designed for a different kind of person in a different point of life with a different set of priorities. When the framework doesn't fit, it doesn't feel like a mismatch. It feels like a personal failure. That's exactly why I built the Calm Income Archetype system. Not to tell you what to do, but to show you how you already naturally move through the world and then build an income path that fits that. When the approach matches the person, momentum comes much more naturally. Here's what I want you to take away from today. The stall is not a verdict. It is not evidence that you're not cut out for this, or that you waited too long, or that other women have something you don't. The stall is a signal, a very specific signal that says you haven't yet found your first step. That's it. That's all it is. And first steps are findable. The Calm Income Archetype quiz, linked below, is designed to be that first step for you. It takes about 5 minutes, it's completely free, and what it gives you is clarity about which income path fits who you already are. Not who you're trying to become, who you already are. Take the quiz, find your archetype, and let that be step one. Because the stall isn't a signal that you're not ready, it's a signal that you haven't yet found your first step. Let's find it.